Notre Dame win will do more for BYU than any other win in conference, probably. I dare say it might even be better than beating a non-Texas Tech team in the Big 12 title game.
Who are you talking to right now?
Beating Texas Tech at any point would be a huge win, frankly akin to Notre Dame, although Notre Dame carries much more street cred.
Who is it you think you see?
Because what is the goal? Is it beat Notre Dame? Is it beat Utah? But that game is massive, and like I've said, it is a scheduling godsend.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
In its second visit ever to Utah, Notre Dame comes away with a stretch of 10 losses.
What are we doing? What are we doing that this has become a talking point in the coverage of our team? What is the plot of this story that our reporters are writing? We are only in the introduction of our 2026 season, and this narrator has already written a story that we are a second-rate team, lucky to lick the boots of a program with, quote, street cred. Are we serious? Are we still talking about the credit given amongst a national audience that doesn't watch our games? Are we seriously selling ourselves so short? The narrators of our story are telling a tale of a team that hasn't existed in over 4 decades. We are not a team bursting onto the scene and surprising the college football world. We are BYU Football. We own a history of the greatest passers in college football history. We are the national champions who broke the polls. We are blue blood slayers. We beat Texas. We beat Oklahoma. We beat USC. We beat Miami. We certainly are not going to define our season on some halfway contenders that point to the ACC like their quality wins. We are at a high point of our football history. When has there ever been a better avenue for us to enter the postseason and prove on the field that we are one of the premier programs? There is no more appeasing a committee or a computer. We have our criteria. Win all of our games and we get into the big dance. Today, we say damn the value of wins and losses. We are going to throw away any poll or power ranking. We are done perpetuating an amateurish cultural holdover from the days of independence. We are in one of the best conferences in college football. We aren't in the WAC. We aren't in the Mountain West. We are in the Big 12. And when teams come to Provo, they come to play us. We aren't lucky to be playing them. I have been a BYU fan from the day I was born. I lived during our time in the Mountain West. I lived through the Utah losing streak, and I lived with the fandom that nostalgically retold the stories of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Dragging all of that baggage behind me, I took a seat in Lavelle Edwards Stadium to watch my unranked Cougars play the 13th ranked Kansas State Wildcats. As BYU took the lead and entered the third quarter with momentum, the defense made a stop and Kansas State punted the ball into the air. Gravity shot the ball down to earth and through Parker Kingston's hands. For a split second, it looked like the destiny for BYU football would perpetually be second rate. As the ball bounced back towards our own end zone, my mind began to consign over all of my hopes and dreams into the hands of every national news outlet, talking head, and rankings poll that we were never going to do the things that premier football programs do. Then, the players on the field refused to do what my mind was attempting to do: give up. Kingston declined to dive onto the ball. He refused to stop his momentum as he skirted dangerously over our own goal line. He dared to reject the wall of players in front of him, choosing to dash towards the sideline. And then he gave the middle finger to the projection of whatever was supposed to happen as he strutted into the end zone. As I screamed and jumped up and down in my seat, all reservations had been incinerated from my mind. This was not teams of the past constricted by perception of being in lesser conferences. This was not the team floating outside of consistent quality competition year after year. And this was not the BYU teams that could be offhandedly dismissed by the college football world. We are in a Power 4 conference. We beat the ranked teams, and we are coming for the postseason. You are not supposed to score a touchdown when you muff a punt, and BYU is not supposed to beat Notre Dame. This era of BYU doesn't care what is supposed to happen, and we fans declare that we are done letting everyone define what our team is capable of. Firstly, our fight song isn't just something we do because we scored. It's what we believe. We aren't just happy to play on the trails to fame and glory. We own the trail, and it's ours to lose. We don't accept runner-up finishes. We are the unfolders of victory's story. We are the Cougars of BYU. We don't play games on paper. We play between the lines at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. We're done acknowledging the paid actors that have set the narrative of college football. Pat McAfee, Kirk Herbstreit, Josh Pate, Joe Klatt, Nick Saban, Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti, these guys don't get to have a legitimate opinion if it was formulated by a corporation's paycheck. They don't matter anymore. We decide if we are supposed to win or lose a game. Traditional coverage about BYU has been about everything off the field. Pot shots at our fans, inaccurate analysis of our players, and false narratives about our schedule. Our coverage of the Cougs is going to reflect how dominant of a program we are. Our fans are the loudest in the country, and it's not even close. I've been to Georgia. I've been to Alabama. I'm going to LSU. None of their fans caused 4 false starts in a row. Our players run the NFL. You think these blue bloods produce the best? Ask the players who the best offensive and defensive players are in the league. They'll give you the story on our 2 Provo products, running both the defense and the offense in the professional ranks. Our schedule is a grind. We're done letting them magically erase the ranked wins that we piled up just because those ranked teams couldn't recover after being dominated by us. What we put into the win and loss column is our story. We declare there is no such thing as a blue blood. It was made up so that teams could live off of reputation in years that they weren't up to par. BYU has punched in their weight class since the days of Coach Edwards. Pundits claim Alabama is way out of our league. Try going back to 1998, where we carried a 24-24 score late into the game and came away only losing by a touchdown. Georgia will outclass us? How about taking the lead over the 11-1, number 6 ranked Georgia Bulldogs and their Heisman running back Herschel Walker, then pushing them to the brink, leading them in the 4th quarter, then only losing by a field goal. You'll never find these pundits trying to claim that Rocky never had a chance against Apollo Creed. He just ran out of time. What about Texas? Taysom Hill can answer that one. Oklahoma, try Jacobson in the back of the end zone. USC, we haven't lost them since Bush was in their backfield. How about Tennessee? We took care of them. Texas A&M, we think of them as our springboard into our best seasons. We don't just hang with college football favorites. We take care of them. Finally, we will not let our history be buried any longer. BYU is not just a piece of college football. BYU is one of its most integral parts. Without BYU, there would be no modern air raid. Doug Scoville shattered the passing record books with Mark Wilson and Jim McMahon, and then learning beneath him was Roger French, who coached BYU to its landscape-changing national championship, and then instructed Ty Detmer to the program's only Heisman. Another Scoville disciple would be Andy Reid, arguably the second greatest NFL coach of all time with his 3 Super Bowl wins, Coach of the Year award, and 6 conference championships. Who was Reid's boss early in his professional career? BYU's quarterback coach from the 1982 to 1985 seasons, Mike Holmgren. You've heard of him as Green Bay's Super Bowl winning coach who turned Brett Favre into a 3-time MVP. The BYU coaching accomplishments aren't just limited to the 20th century. Norm Chow, who served as Roger French's wide receivers coach, went on to coach Carson Palmer and Matt Leinart to Heisman trophies and national championships as their offensive coordinator. Gary Croton, a graduate assistant on French's staff, went on to be the offensive coordinator of the 2008 national champion LSU Tigers. And guess who sat in all of the meetings these iconic coaches held together? Mike Leach, the guy who taught Cliff Kingsbury and Lincoln Riley everything they know. And let's not forget Steve Sarkisian, who quarterbacked the Cougs in the 90s. There would be no Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, or Caleb Williams without BYU. Disrespected is not a strong enough word for what has been done to our history. BYU doesn't just play football, BYU molds football, and every other team that claims to be greater than us lives in the game BYU pioneered. As of me creating this video, we are just 5 weeks away from the kickoff of the 2026 season. That means there are 5 weeks for BYU fans to tear down the limits that we have lived within during the era of the 12-team playoff. As you watch this video, you are part of the new age of BYU football. We will no longer be referred to as a second-rate program. We will continue pioneering college football and break the rest of the sport free from biased TV networks, committees, talking heads, and polls. We know there will be some pretty adamant disagreement that we will never measure up to the teams consistently appearing in the playoffs. Doubters will say that history is against us. Naysayers will claim that we just don't have the means to compete. Don't care. We don't listen to what everyone else is saying. While their favorite college football teams were running the wishbone, we were shaping the future. The Fighting Irish are just another game on the schedule, and as the playoff rankings begin to form, BYU will be the strongest thing on their resume. It's up to the Cougars to force college football narrators to spin the game's conclusion. I can hear their voices now, arguing over why BYU's win is actually a strong loss for the Fighting Irish playoff odds.
Well, they win this one. And we're going to take you down to John Dockery.